Okay, in this video I'm going to go over the mock quiz. So, looking at the figure to the right and using proper notation, so that's key. Alright, you want to focus in on the proper notation because that's going to be very, very important for your success in this quiz. So proper notation means that you put a notation above the letters that you use. Alright, so using proper notation, we have to identify a pair of opposite rays. So, opposite rays means I have one ray that starts, so let's look at this right here. If I start my ray at B and I go all the way this way, that ray, BE, would be opposite, get out of there, ray BD. Do you see that if they have the same starting point right here at B? So let's write those down. So I'm going to say that ray, and we'll do this in red, that ray BE, so BE, now proper notation, 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 notation. Looking at the arrowhead and noticing that it's close to the E, I have to write my notation like that. So that says ray BE. It starts at B and it goes through E and goes forever and ever. Alright, so now let's grab the other one that's opposite it. So ray BD starts at B and goes forever and ever through D is going to be opposite ray BE. So things to note, they have the same starting point and they go in completely opposite directions. So that would be a pair of opposite rays. Another pair of opposite rays could have been ray BA going this way, and that would have been opposite ray BC going that way. Alright, so you had a couple of answers here. Key things, make sure your rays are indeed going opposite directions, and make sure you have the proper notation. Alright, let's go on to the next question that says identify a line. So, big things about a line. A line is identified by notation above it, and the notation above it has to look like a line itself. So if I say line AC, I can't just write AC, I have to put the symbol of a line above it. That AC is this AC with the arrowheads. I could have also identified line DE as long as I put arrowheads above both of them. Alrighty? Okay, the third question is identify a line segment. So a line segment has its own notation. So let me highlight a possible line segment for you. So let's look right here. Please just get the right color. I'll make it like that. Okay, so how about if I say line segment from D all the way to E. So that line segment starts at D and ends at E. And the way I would write it so that my audience knows I mean a line segment is I would write the letters D and E, and I'm not done, so I have to put a line segment symbol. So notice on my symbols I don't have any points. I just have either a line segment right there, a line symbol right there, or a ray symbol. Those are the three you have to use, and those are your proper notations. Okay, without them, you have not identified the proper item that they asked for in questions 1, 2, and 3. So make sure that you're clear on that. And we're going to go on to question 4. Okay, question 4 says, find the indicated length. So notice that there is no symbol on top of this DE. When there's no symbol, that means length. They want you to find the length of DE, And they can either tell you that in words, or they can just say DE equals. Okay, for questions 4 and 5, we are going to use the ruler postulate that we learned about in class. So the ruler postulate just means we're going to measure using what they've given us on the straight line. So let's see if we can identify where DE is. So it looks like DE is right here where I'm highlighting. So they want that length. So far they've given me 2 other pieces. So they have given me 12, which is the length of the whole piece from A to E, and 9, which is the length from A to D. So the ruler postulate tells me that I can write the following equation. I can say that 12, which is the entire length from A to E, equals D plus the length of DE. So how do I get length DE? Subtract 9 from both sides, so minus 9, and I get 3 equals DE using the ruler postulate. So this length is 3, and that's the work that you should show. Okay, question 5 has us use the ruler postulate as well, but now we've introduced some variables instead of some number values. Same process, but we're going to read the question. So they told us that AB is 2x, and then they went ahead and they labeled that for us. Next, they told us that BC is 5x, and they've labeled that for us. Lastly, they've said, well, they're asking us to find AB. So which length is AB? Looks like it's this length right here. They want us to find that given that AC, which is the entire length from here to here, that entire length from those 2 points is 21. So the ruler postulate tells me that the entire length is the sum of the parts, and the parts are 2x plus 5x. Now remember your addition with variables. So 2x plus 5x gives me 7x. Notice there's no squared in there because I haven't multiplied. 21 equals 7x. Isolate your x by dividing both sides by 7, and you do division to undo the multiplication. So I end up getting 3 equals x, but I am absolutely not done because they don't want to know what x is. They want to know what is the length of AB. So I know from the information in the question that AB equals 2x. Now that I've solved for x, I know that AB equals 2 times 3, and 2 times 3 is 6, and that is my answer. So I know that AB equals 6. Okay, always go back and make sure you've answered the question, because we had done all of this work here, but yet this did not answer the question. So always make sure that what you're providing as your final answer answers the question that they've asked you. Okay, we're going to go on the next page on to question 6. All right, in question 6, they're asking us to plot some points. So here are the points we're going to plot. Then once we plot them, in this coordinate plane to the right, it says, is the length of AB and CD congruent? So we have to show some work for this. First job is to plot. If we plot AB, we can see what that looks like. So let's do that first.
Okay, here comes AB. So A is -2, so every line is 1. So -2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. It looks like I'm right here for point A. And I'm going to label that 2, -2, comma 3. Then point B is 1, 3. So it looks to me like that's going to be right there. That's point B, and that's 1, comma 3. All right, now, to get that length, first of all, I'm going to connect those dots so I can see my line segment is right there. So line segment AB has a length equal to, well, let's think about this. This is a horizontal line. I remember from class that if we have a horizontal line or a vertical line, I can use absolute value to figure out the length of this piece. So the first thing I need to do is notice that they both share a 3. Since they both share that 3, I may ignore that 3 and take the absolute value of the difference of the x values. So negative 2 minus 1, which gives me negative 3. Notice that it's in the absolute value symbol. That tells me that the length is going to be 3 units. Remember, absolute value means you can drop the sign. I'm asking you how far away that is from 0, and you're telling me 3 units. So the length of AB is 3. So that's the first thing we have to do. Then we're going to change colors. And I next want to figure out the length of CD. So I am thinking that I might erase this grid so that you can see where I'm going with CD. So maybe what I'll even do, let me just think about this for a second. Maybe I'll just erase the points and see if that gives us enough room to work so we can still see what AB looks like. So let's try that first. Okay, so there we have it. So I need CD, which is over 2 up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so right here at the very top of the grid will be point C. Then I have over 2 down 2. Right here is going to be D. And I'm connecting that with the line segment. So that's D. And I can see visually, it looks to me like those two lengths are probably not congruent. But remember, we just can't say, well, it looks like it's not. We have to show some work. So let's continue the same approach we had a moment ago. So this point is 2, 4. So C is located at 2, 4. And D is located at 2, negative 2. Alright, so what did we do last time? Do you remember? We looked and we said, gosh, it's a vertical line. That means I can use the absolute value technique to get its length. And I'm going to see where they have numbers that are the same. And it looks to me like they have their x's the same. So this time I'm going to take the absolute value of the difference of their x of their y's. So let me change back to my ink. And I'm going to say that CD, we know that notation means I'm looking for the length, equals the absolute value of 4 minus a minus 2. Alright, the second I see I have a minus, I know that becomes a plus. So I'm going to change that now to a plus, just to save me some room here. I'm going to do it right here. Okay, changing that to a plus. You can do that on the next line if you want. So now, what is the absolute value of 4 plus 2? That's the absolute value of 6. I can drop the absolute value sign, and my length is 6. So when I compare the length of CD, which is 6, with the length of AB, which is 3, I know that they are not equal, and therefore they are not congruent. So can we use a sentence in math using symbols to indicate that? Yes, we can. We can say, AB, here's your congruent symbol. If they were congruent, we would use that symbol, but they're not, so you're going to negate that symbol, and then put CD. And that fully answers that question. So be comfortable doing this procedure. Have in your mind the fact that if you see vertical, here's a vertical, or a horizontal line segment, you may use the absolute value technique to find its length. Okay, we're going to go on to question 7 on the next page. Okay, question 7 says, in the diagram, calculate the midpoint of AC. So I want to know where is the midpoint of line segment AC. And really, I should have had a line segment symbol there. So I'm going to just put, well, can I put that there? I can't do it. Oh, there we go. There's my line segment. Alright, so label this point M. So I have a midpoint between 2 points formula that I'm going to use right here. It looks to me like I need x1s and x2s and y1s and y2s. That tells me I have to label my 2 points. So my A is located at negative 3, 2. And my B is located at 2, negative 2. That would be my first step. My next step is to say down here for myself, A equals negative 3, 2, and B equals 2, negative 2. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is label these points because I see that in my formula I have x1s and x2s and y1s and y2s, and I don't have that yet. So my first point, I'm going to call x1, y1. Remember, you have x's and y's in every point. My next point, I'm going to label x2 and y2. Okay, now I'm going to change my color again, and we're going to use our formula. So to find the midpoint, which we're going to label M, that's going to equal x1 plus x2. So that's negative 3 plus 2 over 2. Okay, that's going to be my x value of the midpoint. Put a little comma. And then y1 plus y2. So that's 2 plus a negative 2. So that's really 2 minus 2 over 2. Alright, so what is that value? It looks to me like negative 3 plus 2 is a negative 1. So negative 1 over 2 is the x value of the midterm. And 2 minus 2 is 0. And 0 over 2 is still 0. So let's see if that makes sense. That is what that's the midpoint I have calculated. Where would I find that? Oh, it looks like I'm going to find it right there. Visually, that looks like the midpoint. So my visual, along with my math, show me that I have the right point. Now, I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit. If I wanted to then indicate that that is a midpoint, I could put a little hash mark here and a little hash mark here, and those hash marks indicate that that line segment, AM, equals MB. Remember, we had done that in class as well. So that's good information for you to have, and we're ready to do the last question, which involves using the distance formula. We'll do that on the next page.
Alright, in this last problem, they say calculate AB using the distance formula and round your answer to the nearest tenth. And the distance between 2 points can be calculated using this formula right here. So I've already taken the liberty of writing out my points. Now let's go ahead and we'll label those points. So here is x1, y1, x2, and y2. And I'm just making sure that my points are correct, and they are. Alright, so notice this line segment is neither vertical, which is straight up and down, or horizontal, which is straight across. So therefore, I can't use the absolute value.
So So I have to instead use this distance formula. So in order to get AB, I'm going to plug in exactly what I have there. So I'm going to write AB, and it's going to equal, and that looks like PB, so let me just write that again. Okay, so we're going to say AB equals, I need the square root symbol, and I'm going to say x2 minus x1. So that's going to be 2 minus a minus 3, and I'm going to square that. I'm just going to write like this for right now. Now I'm going to say, well, I know if I have a minus, that is going to be a plus. So I'm going to make that, so hang on 1 second, I'm going to make that a plus. So this is 2 plus 3 because it was minus a minus. Okay, so then following this formula down below, plus y2 is a negative 2 minus y1 is 2, and I'm going to square that as well. Okay, so let's rewrite it again. So even if you end up putting this in your calculator, I want to see this work. 2 plus 3 is 5, so that's 5 squared, plus, I'm going to keep that in parentheses because I want to discuss that over here. Okay, negative 2 minus 2 is a minus 4. I'm going to square a minus 4. That means I'm going to say minus 4 times minus 4, and that's going to make that a positive 16. So let's go on to the next step. Under the radical, I have 25, because that's what 5 squared is, plus negative 4 times negative 4 is a 16, and it's a positive